What's up, guys? My name is Susan Grind, and today we actually got a triple grind day. I mean, 2 songs and a goddamn review. For those who haven't watched my channel, however, because I guess this is the type of video that might reach out to some strangers. This is just me kind of noting the fact that I've already uploaded 2 songs today that I actually finished today. Well, one of them I actually made last night, but that's not important to this video for anyone who doesn't know me for my music. So, that's that. Really excited that I got to release it on the day of Halloween, on the spooky spook day. You know, having that heavy metal release with, like, clean vocals, just to debrief a little. It was really nice to do something completely different from what I usually do, and, you know, stem around a little bit, because I have done heavy metal before, but this was the first time I went straight heavy metal, just like for the whole album and release / whatever the fuck you want to call it. But yeah, so if you expect an extensive review on both seasons, then no, most of this video length is because of the second season, because that's the one I'm going to go in the most depth of, because that's the one I've just finished, and I'm just really doing this because my friend thought it would be a smooth way of sort of reviewing every season, and, at the same time, I get to expose people to potentially a new show, and I get to, for some people who are friends around here, if they watch my channel, they're going to be like, oh, he likes Dexter, we have some shit to talk about, that kind of thing. Or, if someone in the future sees this, I can send them my review, and such. But I will go over the first season. Now, the first season, I think, is perfect. Now, you're going to find out that that's going to be... Oh, shit. Ugh. You're going to find out real quick that that's going to be a common theme here in these reviews, that I'm going to call every fucking season perfect, basically. Because the way things are heading, even if... I don't know. It depends. Like, obviously, some seasons can be better than others, but so far, I'm still in the golden age of Dexter with the first 2, but the first season with the, Ice Truck Killer, I think that was fucking brilliant, the way they played that out. I mean, what can I say? I can say that Dexter has a really likable character in the first season, and his character development in the first season is, for someone who's totally emotionless, is impressive, because, you can see towards, the progression that he actually starts having feelings for his girl at the time, Rita, which, in season 2, results may vary, whether she's his girl or not, And, so, how can I really describe season 1 here? It was a great, mystery kind of thing, and the final episode, the big thing I will actually say about number 1, the first season, that I think is the best way I could give it a review, an honest score, is... the last episode felt like it could have been the last episode of the show, period. Like, it's so good, they could have just, yep, that's it, wrap it up, folks, never doing another one. It could have just been a single season show, it would have still been perfect, I'm saying that, and that's going to be a continuous theme, actually, for the second one. I feel like the ending really wraps up the season in a really nice way, to where if it ended at season 2 and didn't get a third season, it would get 2 paws up from me. Because here's the thing, it doesn't end on a cliff note or cliffhanger or, anything slightly along that path. Because there's endings where it's like, it's not completely a cliffhanger, but it kind of insinuates that it wants to be. But no, the endings in season 1 and 2, they're both endings. You know what I mean? Endings. Like, this is the end of this chapter. You're not going to be here now anymore. You're going to be somewhere else next time you come around, you know? That kind of thing. You know, it feels like every chapter, every season so far, which I've only seen 2, so I can't say too much yet, but I can see, in what I've seen so far, the first 2 seasons feel like 2 completely different beasts from each other. Now, season 2, here comes the big part where we end up at fucking 30 minutes of a video. Clicked on it, so you thought it was interesting enough to watch. So, don't cry to me. Here's where I sit back and position the camera a little. So, season 2, it's obviously about the fact that the bodies of Dexter and his victims, they found them in the ocean. Some deep divers found them in the ocean. And because of that, there was the investigation about this, you know, supposed new murderer that's even worse than the ice truck killer, you know? And the way they end up naming him is calling him the Bay Harbor Butcher, right? And in this season, it does something it's never done before, where Dexter lets people see him for who he is more. And I think at the start of the season, however, he was still, so at the start of the season, he was struggling with, like, the thing with, you know, killing his own fucking brother, that he literally found out, like, days prior to killing him, that it was his brother. Again, that's pretty fucking insane, you know, you find out it's your brother, and now you have to kill him. And that's kind of rough for him. You know, it doesn't matter who you are, if you're not Dexter, if you're a cop and you have to, you know, shoot someone to die because they're a threat at the scene of the crime or whatever, you know, that's bound to do something to someone, right? It's bound to hit someone, right? Doesn't matter if you're doing it for a good cause or not. Unless you're a complete soulless killer, then, you know, that's not going to hurt you. In the case being Dexter, he wasn't hurt by his murders because his murders were all to criminals, right? And his brother being one of them, right? So he was still haunted by his brother in the early season. And it causes Rita to think that he's on drugs, which is so fucking funny. I laughed my ass off when she said that, because here's the thing. He said, yes, I do have an addiction, and I was saying in my head that he should tell Rita, but it's not drugs. But I guess he didn't want to give it away, so I guess that's that, you know, he didn't want to give it away, which is smart, because that's probably why we have a lot more seasons than just 2, because he didn't give it away to Rita, because Rita would have easily, she would not have taken that, she would not have accepted that. She's kind of like a rabbit, you know, a scared rabbit. You know, when you get too close to one, they just run away, right? But yeah, so continuing on, the story delves into that, and of course, Dokes, being the smartass he is. Now, this is going to be where many people's opinions will falter, and personally, I never liked Dokes much in the first season. In fact, in the first season, I disliked him. And in the early part of season 2, I disliked him as well. Quite a bit, actually, to the point where I even came to the point where I was like, man, I hate this guy. Because, you know, I'm kind of rooting for Dexter here because he's just, you know, cleaning the streets of criminals. But, you know, obviously Dokes is up his ass about everything with the Bay Harbor Butcher shit. And he ends up fighting him and getting fired. And then, you know, during all that, he's at the fucking 12-step program. Ends up with fucking Lila. Do you notice how both fucking girlfriends have a 4-letter name, and they only have 2 different fucking letters in the name? Rita, Lila. I mean, come on, man. You can't be any more creative than that. I'm not talking about the people who named the characters. I'm talking about Dexter. God damn, you gotta figure that one out real quick. You know, you can't date someone with the same name. You know. See, that's a little thing there for people who are new to the channel. They're not gonna realize that was complete fucking bullshit I pulled out of my ass on the spot. See, I'm a comedian on this channel. I fucking take any chance to poke fun at the stories or whatever I'm talking about. I poke fun at shit. I joke around here. So if you know, but nonetheless, it turns out to be a complete fucking disaster because the more he is with her, the more he wants to go away from him, which is, well, relatable in some cases, I guess. Some people are like that. The more you interact with them, the more you realize how fucking annoying they are. And Lila was a little more than just annoying. She was a genuine threat to everyone she's around, considering well, for fucking starters, it started with her almost killing herself with a fire. I mean, she could have easily killed herself with that fire that took out the first time she fucking burned down her house. And apartment, whatever, and then somehow she still got to live there after doing that. I mean, she's in a 12-step program, so it's not like she's fucking the most healthy person, and I would assume that you do background checks on your tenants, and I don't know, I'm just trying to add logic. I don't know how the fucking landlord doesn't, check in on that stuff to where they're like, you know what? My tenant just burned down their fucking apartment, and they are a drug addict who's in, a 12-step program. Maybe I should consider, maybe I should reconsider my agreement. But, we can't all be fucking interested in using our brains. I know, I want to say we can't all be fucking thinking like that, thinking ahead of the times, But then, she pulls the whole Batista thing, and well, that's before the fire. But I'm just getting things out of my mouth as they come. That's what she said. But yeah, everything gets more crazy and crazy, and in season 2, I feel like that's one of the most crazy things so far. The whole season, it's crazier than season 1. And that's interesting to say, considering season 1 was people being cut into pieces and drained fully of blood. And, the Ice Truck Killer was highly talented and such. But, that's just the way she goes, I guess. And then Dokes actually, now, think back on this one. I said that I didn't like Dokes for the first half. Because in the second half, or well, let's just say the last few episodes, right? Dokes is trapped in a cage, and he's talking to Dexter. And Dexter, he was either gonna turn himself in, or, just make up his bullshit story about Dokes, framing him, essentially, right? He was never intending on killing Dokes. And all the while, his batshit fucking girlfriend, or whatever the fuck you want to call her, this batshit insane fucking Lila, keeps fucking chasing him around fucking town, almost getting him killed and shit, even though she tries to say that, no, I didn't try to get you killed by telling someone who killed your mother where you were, even though after you fucking beat the shit out of him, No, I'm not trying to do that at all. It's fucking, nah, so fucking intelligent, right? She's not really that smart, And then the thing that makes me like Dokes in this part is because he kind of now he could have just been lying to Dexter to fucking because that's most likely what he was doing. He was probably lying to Dexter, just straight up telling all kinds of lies, just anything to get Dexter to set him free, right? Because he knew that Dexter was even going to frame him or kill him. Ugh. And either way, he was going to try to, he's a man of survival. He tries to survive. He tries to do what he thinks is right. That's the kind of man Dokes is, That's why I understand why people like him as a character in the first few moments. But the way he talks to Dexter in the cage, is much more likable than when he was out of the cage. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. And part of me kind of hoped that they could have formed an alliance of sorts. Like that's kind of what I would have hoped, where Dokes turned around his mindset early enough to where they could have been an alliance, and all of this stupid shit could have been avoided and stuff. But he had different priorities than Dexter and stuff like that, so gotta rep that clean ass fucking Kai shirt, goddammit. Fucking, got this cannibal dog, man. It's got some text on the back. He's been murdering for centuries. It's about some Hawaiian shit. You wouldn't know about it because you don't listen to real metal if you're watching this video. Fuck. I'm just going off here. Yeah, I have a fucking broken pillow here. Fucking been meaning to replace this shit. I have another pillow. It's just that I don't really use it. But yeah, all in all, it turns into this batshit fucking crazy battle between all the three. Because, he's trying to keep his peace with Dokes, or, well, not keep his peace, but, he's trying to keep Dokes away from the public until he can do something. And then, all the while, his fucking batshit insane Lila keeps fucking trying to track everything down that he does, just because I guess she was in love with someone, in love with someone who I guess she imagined helped him or whatever. Helped her is what I meant to say. But realistically, she's just what Dexter said. She's just trying to feel, and because she's completely emotionless and a fucking piece of shit deep down. But unlike Dexter, she's just a piece of shit. She's not doing anything for a good cause. Like, for example, Dexter, at least with him, you can make the argument that, he only tries to kill criminals. And he said it himself throughout the season, where he wished it, but he couldn't kill her. And, that's just the way she goes, I guess. But then I know exactly what it is to turn it around for him. The exact moment he knew that Lila killed Dokes, that was the exact moment he planned to kill her. Because what does he do? He kills killers, right? He only goes after killers. That's the only people he goes after. Technically, even though Lila did blow up her fucking ex-partner in a fucking fire, he got kind of blindsided by that one, by saying that if he deserved it, blah, 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 he did that whole speech. But something tells me that Lila killing her ex on accident, seeing the way she handled Dexter not liking her, I don't know, man. I don't think she has the strongest track record of accidentally killing people, you know what I'm saying? I think that she genuinely tried to kill her ex. I mean, she successfully killed her ex, but it wasn't an accident. I completely believe she's full of shit saying that. Anyone who does that is just, well, you're pussy whipped, man. That's the only fucking explanation I can give you. You're pussy whipped if you don't fucking see that she's a fucking complete fucking bullshitter when it comes to saying that she accidentally killed that man. I don't know if it was her ex, but it's someone she killed, alright? And she pretended to be all, oh, I'm so sad about the whole thing, and, it's such an accident, I didn't mean to do it, and no. See, because here's the thing. She tried to throw Batista under the fucking bus, frame him for rape or shit, or whatever the fuck. And then, when Dexter turns her down, when Dexter doesn't even turn her down, he didn't even turn her down. He was literally planning to go, you know what I mean. He was planning to go with her, but obviously take care of her. But he didn't deny her when Deb showed up. What really happened is, as he said in his phone message to Lila before everything blew over, is that he just had to lie to his sister. What is he going to tell his sister? That he's the killer? No. He's not going to do that. He has to lie because he has to maintain, that image he has. All good in the hood. And then she handles that by taking Rita's kids and luring him to her apartment to kill them in a fire. And, it just, it makes sense that, that she killed her ex or whatever the fuck he was, because, and the reason why I say that Dexter made up his mind already when she killed Dokes is because she didn't have, because, like I said, I don't have to prove myself, he literally says it, because, he was going to take care of her, and then after that is when the kids fucking get trapped in the fire. But the craziest thing is, the ending, for me, is they never elaborate how Dexter was able to know that Lila was going to Paris, and how he was able to follow her in time and, know where exactly she was going, what hotel and stuff. Now, Google, my little googly search, that's a reference to Trailer Park Boys, but the podcast, Ricky's googly search, if anyone watches that, they're going to love this reference. Because Ricky's googly search is a really fucking good episode where he just fucking Googles all. You know what? I think I'm actually going to go, because I actually pay for Trailer Park Boys website now. I'm going to actually go and watch that podcast episode after this little video here. So I'm going to pause. Because I was originally going to watch the first episode of season 3 after this. But and see, this is what my reviews are like. I'm not, if anyone comes new to this and they're like, oh man, I really want to hear what this guy has to say in the future, all I can tell you is this is how the reviews are going to be. They're going to be between 20 to 30 minutes, maybe even 40 if you're in bad luck. But they're going to be like this length, and they're going to be me partially reviewing it, but also throwing in all kinds of shit. I'm going to be talking about my life, the fucking shit going around, what I'm doing. See this fucking shit? Fucking cute ass Halloween cup. Santa Claus is on the fucking way, Winter is coming. Even though it fucking doesn't really feel cold. I actually even consider going outside. But I think I just have a smoke and sit home. But yeah, so the batshit crazy thing about that is, most likely what the Googly search said is he was able. Wait, let me actually get this again because it said it very clearly. The Google search said, and I quote, we will find that Dexter tracked Lila to Paris after she fled there following their confrontation by secretly following her. Well, no shit, Sherlock. But the show doesn't explicitly explain how he did it. Let me see. How does he find her? They basically, Google and Reddit says that he basically uses detective skills, hacking and, tracing, whatever the fuck it was called, that I really just read 2 seconds ago and forgot. But, he essentially went into databases and, like that. He knew immediately where she was going. And I think someone else mentioned some postcard on Reddit, If someone else has a better explanation for how he, on a speculation on how he found Lila, where she was going and how she was tracked down by him, give it in the comments and give a good, you'll get a good thumbs up if you can give a better explanation than me, but you probably can, so you're gonna get a thumbs up. So just give it. And I'm looking at you, Lapolic. I know you will be able to do that. So, but it's pretty much what I said. He tracked her down through, some shit. The database is looking up and stuff. And I think originally I was kind of happy with Dokes not going to be part of the show, but there's also part of me that, and this is actually turning into like an 80-20%, where this is because of like what I said, where I started liking him more towards the end of his life. The 80% that now disagrees with what I said at first, that I enjoyed, him not being there anymore. The reason why I disagree with that now, after seeing the full finale, is because think about this. If it played out the way it should have, which is not what I said, but, with him framing Dokes, realistically what would have happened is Dokes would have, tried to defend himself the best he could, and it would have gone either of two ways. Either they would have believed his defense, or thrown him in prison for probably life, right? Life in prison. But eventually, it doesn't matter which way it would have gone, because eventually they would have crossed paths again, right? Because I believe that even if he got framed and would have gotten in prison, I think that somehow, some way, there would have been like a thing in the progression in the future where they would have had a reunion sort of thing, and not a reunion to catch up and have a couple beers and play ball, a kind of reunion where we stab each other, which could have been interesting too. But I'm an open-minded guy, so I'm open to see where the third season will take us. I think that because season 1, yes, I did say that it ended on a nice note where it could have ended there, but season 2 kind of completes what season 1 left behind, the few things it did leave behind. For example, Dexter's trail. Now there's zero trail of Dexter. Obviously there is obviously one body, that being Lila's. Somewhere he put that body in some place. But we don't know how that's going to progress. So, if you wanted me to give a rating, then both seasons are fucking, the kind of things where you want to exceed the rating scale itself, where you're just going to be like, oh, dude, this is like a fucking 11 out of 10 for both of these seasons. So far, it's fucking great. I would say that just to compare it to stuff I've seen so far, and this is mostly to compare it to, like, stuff my friend has recommended me, because Dexter, Breaking Bad, and Lost are all recommendations from my friend LaPollock. Big shout out there. Who I've watched mainly because he kept recommending it. And eventually I was just like, well, might as well see what it's up. Right? And what the fuck was I going at? I lost my trail there. But I was basically saying, that this recommendation, if I were to compare it, I would compare it to Lost most similarly. I like it more than Lost, because here's why I'm comparing it to Lost, because they're going to be not similar, because Dexter is actually going to be longer than Lost and take me more time to finish. Thank you for that one, buddy. Than Lost, because of the new season that just came out and finished, and now there's another one coming out on top of that. Maybe that will be the finale. Who knows? And apparently the new shit is really fucking great. So, I'm kind of not looking forward to finishing all the... Because here's the thing. I'm going to word it like this. I'm not looking forward to finishing the 8th season of the original Dexter, because New Blood and Original Sin are not on Netflix. They're on Paramount. But I'm not going to pay for 2 fucking streaming services, and I'm not going to do the full fucking gay thing where I don't pay for Netflix 1 month and buy Paramount, because what do you have to do then? You have to redo all your fucking preferences. So, I'm going to obtain it through other measures, wink, 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 and watch it 100% legally. Got a little twitch in my eye. I don't know what's up with that, Mine's been twitching all day, so And I'm going to watch it that way, and I'm probably going to have to download it, put it on my USB drive, clear up some space, because they're pretty big seasons, and, just watch it from there. It's going to be a hassle, but I think for Dexter, it will be one of those shows when it's worth it. True Detective, I ended up dropping that because it wasn't... this is sort of a message to Pollock. I ended up just dropping that one mostly because while I was interested in watching it because it's one of those recommendations, right? I just didn't end up watching it because it wasn't one of those recommendations where the urges were strong. And with Dexter, because of how great and, insane praise it was given by not only you, but my dad, who watched it, and all those fucking head honchos, motherfuckers. Everyone's praising Dexter, right? And there's references in Trailer Park Boys to Dexter's Kill Room. If everyone talks good about it, then it's gotta be good, right? That's why I'm, interested. I've only heard one motherfucker mention True Detective now. And I haven't seen you give as much praise as you have Dexter. In my defense, it's probably just situational. And I don't know which one you like more, but if it's Dexter, I totally understand. Anyways, that's all I have to say. And you can expect the next review to be a little shorter because I don't have to review 2 seasons in one. Since I did about 10 minutes on the first one. And we're just gonna see how things come as they go. Yeah, that was a real good one. Later, goddammit.